And clap.
Action.
What were you saying about something being dark in the middle?
I was just saying, right? Because Dillon said it got dark in the middle to do with the lighting, and my mind was going all places. I'll be honest. So then, as I was thinking of something to say, I said dark in the middle, like leading on to say something, and he already started laughing. So I didn't even need to come up with a joke.
It was just the way you said it. Dark in the middle. What could be dark in the middle?
Well, things that would be very inappropriate for me to say right now. Especially if there's children potentially listening to this podcast, which we figured out a moment ago.
We got a lovely review recently from, I apologize, I can't remember the man's name. He was a man in the US who reviewed us on Apple Podcast, where he said that he loves the podcast, has great fun with it, loves that we cover new and old episodes, and he says that he showed the podcast to his daughter, and he loves having a podcast that he can listen to along with his daughter. I assumed he's an older man with an adult daughter, but Sebastian's concerned that it might be a young child.
Yeah, I'm saying it might be a child, and we ended the last podcast on a fuck, marry, kill. I say fuck hesitantly now. A fuck, marry, kill of the Simpsons.
We were talking about... I said at one point that Luann would be a good fuck.
She'd be dough.
You can tell, or we're back into it. Yeah, you know it. I mean, if we're going to bring in other Simpsons women just to really expand on that conversation before, Helen Lovejoy be alright?
Oh, she'd be frigid.
But I feel like because she's so held back by being married to a priest, you know?
True.
Yeah.
Always,
Mindy Simmons.
Always pump a priest widow. That's what I've heard.
That's what I heard. Is that really a thing that goes around?
Yeah, it's commonly known.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah, they're repressed. So anyway, I hope the father and daughter who listen to this podcast have a good time, and I really hope you're of age. Yeah. I would assume, why would a child listen to a Simpsons podcast?
I don't know,
yeah.
I mean, she could even be 13.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, they've seen a lot, they've heard a lot worse.
Yeah, but it's still,
it feels weird.
It feels weird about
but
that.
Hey, it's out of control. It's that thing that
the more the merrier.
Yeah, totally. It's that thing Steven Spielberg always talks about. It's like, once it's out there, it's not yours anymore. It's other people's.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's what happens to all these podcasts.
It's a good way of kind of feeling less guilty for something.
Yeah. The dad, if this is a younger girl, the dad let her watch it, let her listen to it. So I do hope it's a fucking asshole. But hey, we will never know.
You can't say you can't commit adultery and then be like, oh, it's out there now, Well,
that's not the same as not the same thing. Cheating on your spouse. It's out there now. It happened. You're not apologizing. You're just like, well, I did it.
Sorry, love, but that's that's for anyone else to deal with now. I've done it. I put it out there.
Talking about it's not going to help anything. You might as well just get over it.
I quite literally put it out there. So did she.
Hence why I did it.
Yeah. And you don't. Hence why I did
it. Amazing. That was very convincing. Have you actually cheated before?
No.
I was kidding. That being said, let's jump into the episode.
Of course I have, mate.
Mate.
Stud.
Every now and again, you gotta, keep things fresh. Today we are covering The Night of the Living Wage. This is the 14th episode of the 35th season, and I think we should just jump in.
Let's jump in.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we open up on Lisa taking Snowball for a walk, and the cat that he passes through being like, "That's how I started." She finds a park.
By the way. Cats on walks.
No, they don't want it.
So weird.
They can fend for themselves.
Americans, I can't make an excuse for you on that one. That's weird.
Very, very bizarre. But I'm seeing it here too, though, on a leash. The cat doesn't want that.
So strange.
You can tell because you take a dog for a walk and the dog goes straight ahead. The dog knows what a walk is, and a dog wants to walk. Whereas a cat will start moving around different directions and stuff. They don't want you walking them.
Cats, yeah.
Yeah, very bizarre. They can walk themselves. But she goes to a park. She finds other people walking their pets. We see Wiggum has a pig. Mulman has a tortoise.
Of course, Wiggum has a pig.
Yeah, so good. Made too much sense. He has a pet pig. Probably eats pig around it.
His nose is quite pig-like.
Oh yeah, definitely intentional. I would imagine Wiggum pig wig. I'm sure that's intentional. Yeah. And then the sea captain has the pet parrot, which again made perfect sense. A girl called Lisa telling her to get out, as this park is specifically for support animals. She says that Snowball is very empathetic, and the moment she says that, starts attacking that girl's pet chicken. And she's like, somebody do something. And one guy's like, I can't, I'm an empath. And her goes, I'm conflict averse. We then cut to the vet. He says that it was peck and go for a bit, but she'll be alright. He then gives the Simpsons a bill for $16,000. And Homer's like, for a chicken? I just ate a whole bucket of them for $20. He says that he needed a prosthetic beak, cochlear implants, and Bach therapy. So stupid. And the chicken comes out on a wheelchair. It's very, very cartoony, that whole moment, but I enjoyed it.
Like a Family Guy sketch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Billy beating up a chicken. Yeah, very, very Family Guy.
I'll show you beating up a chicken.
Yeah? Now?
Yeah.
No, it'll get demonetized off YouTube.
True.
Lisa says, after the podcast, Lisa says they can sell her Malibu Stacy dream house, but Homer says that the Saks is where the real money is at. Marge says she'll have to do something she's never done before, get a job. Bart says she's had tons of jobs. She's a cop, a realtor, a gym owner, a baker. Always love to do stuff like that, throwing back to letting us know the show is canon, like everything that's happened, the show has happened, you know, all those classic Marge jobs. But she says that those jobs were her own self-wrote, but this time it's not personal. They cut to her applying for jobs. She goes for a cooking job, as it's one of the only things she doesn't doubt herself at. So sad. We see the job is at Gimme Chow, a food delivery service. Bart says the teachers have been using it ever since Lunch Lady Doris was on Cafeteria Nightmares. We get a little ad saying, Cafeteria Nightmares, every night forever on Fox. Reality is all we got. It's clearly Gordon Ramsay. Not a real show, but I would watch it. Oh, yeah. Cafeteria Nightmares, that'd be great. Him just going on different schools.
Great. Actually sounds like a sick show.
I know, it's meant to be a joke, but I would actually love that.
Gordon Ramsay should do that.
Yeah, it would be great, because you know that, like, especially in like America, there's definitely some really shit cafeterias. Yeah. So that would be fantastic, yeah. He says they're only evening shifts, and Homer is like, well, that's when you and the food make dinner happen. I can't make pork chops. Where do I kill the pigs? In the sink? He eventually agrees to it, and he starts toasting nachos for the kids. We then cut to the induction day, and Marge is surprised to see Mr. Largo there. He's like, Marge, I teach music in a public school. Do the math. I certainly didn't. And then Finn Bonnie Day comes in, introducing the company in a training video designed to disrupt restaurant delivery by getting rid of the restaurants. And this character is brilliantly voiced by Jason Mantzoukas, who you might know as Jay in Big Mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think he's such a good voice. Great voice for animation. They titled where they're working The Ghost Kitchen, and the plan is to make multiple fake franchises operate out of the same kitchen, such as Nugget Safari, Wok Haze, Athlete's Grub, Wing Slut, Gospel Fried Catfish, the Pocket Bucket, and Uncle Mole's Deli, and Final Moo Barbecue. Final Moo Barbecue is my favorite. He says together with their ship manager Gil Gunderson, they want to revolutionize the food industry in Springfield. He's like a robot voice. It's not even an image of it. It says image not found. But Gil says that it's minimum wage and overtime, which will replace the newspaper in your wallet. And he says it'll be easy peasy grilled cheesy. And we just cut to the first order comes through, and it's an easy peasy grilled cheesy. And then more start coming through. 11 grilled cheeses, 6 sushi burgers, and 12 loaded burritos. It just keeps going, and a brilliant bear parody happens. Highlight of the episode for me. Just so well animated. I always love when they can achieve. It looks like a moving camera, which you obviously
like the camera shakes.
Yeah, which obviously just have to animate that, which must be really hard, but it looked flawless the way they did it. Marge is like running through everybody trying to get cheese, and everyone's shouting corner. At one point, Julio goes ceiling. He's just walking on the ceiling. The squeaky voice teen screams at her to fire up the cheese, and Nelson's mom accidentally stabs her. She's like, "Please don't press charges. My parole officer is trying to 3-strike me instead of breaking up with me like a man." He then spills the mayo and slips all over, and she curses. But we only hear her say "pho," obviously, and it gets cut off. And then Curtis goes, "Oh, here's your pho, chef." Really good. Yeah, just an amazing sequence. Just so well made. Yeah, absolutely flawless. We can cut back home. She's having nightmares about the kitchen. I really related just the stress of working in the kitchen. I mean, I was never a chef. I was a kitchen porter and a waiter, but just you always just saw them being so high strung and overthinking everything.
You
like,
gotta be a certain person.
absolutely, it was like it doesn't need to be that way. Like you're making food, you're making something like very feminine and like pretty and like artistic, but you're being so masculine about it. It's a really weird dynamic in there that I couldn't stand after a while. I would never work in a restaurant again, without a doubt. But she wakes up and realizes that it's 3:45. She asks Homer why he didn't wake her up. He says he tried, but she hit him in the face with a spatula. She says it's been 2 months of hell. Last night, Kirk lost a tip of his finger in someone's disco fries. He's got the disco shoe being like, a disco guy likes disco fries. He's just going, oh God! Really funny. Homer says that cooking as a family has been fun. And the moment Marge leaves, he orders from Gimme Chow. He orders pepperoni and paella. Lisa says she's getting an ulcer from lying to Marge. Homer bribes her with tofu tikka masala. We didn't cut to Gil giving them ankle bracelets to make sure they're always hustling and grinding. And he tells Marge that since she worked past midnight, that counts as a new day and she won't be receiving her overtime. She receives a motivational zap from the ankle bracelets, has to start running. She says Gimme Chow is just Gil says Gimme Chow is just a startup, so money is tight. We then cut to a stock reporter saying that their stock is through the roof. He interviews Finn Bonnie Day, announcing that he's the world's newest billionaire. He says his secret is working harder than anybody else at Gimme Chow. And Marge gets so cross, she like throws a kind of duff at the TV. She says that her fate in billionaires has been shaken. And Lisa feels guilty as that Marge has to work this hard due to something that she did. She says that she should start a union. And Marge is like, oh, you know how I feel about fusses, let alone making them. Such a Marge line. She says she's got to run as he's doing. Sorry, Finn Money Day says he's got to run as he's doing ayahuasca with Jeff Bezos in outer space. The moment Marge sees that, she decides to start a union. But Kirk says that the podcaster who tells him to be a free thinker says unions are for communists. This is a great line. Very, very Kirk. Louis, the Italian chef, says that he hates Gimme Chow because first they drove him out of business and then they rip him off. So they've started a new fake company called Luigi's Pizza. It's worse, but cheaper. And we see the ankle bracelets are listening to all of them as they're forming this union. Then cut to the next day, Gil plays a new training video. And he says that their kitchen has been infested, not with mice or roaches, which are fine, but with a bunch with a bunch of unionizers. He says that the word he says that this would add the union ogre to a kitchen. And the ogre comes in the cartoon and is like, I create unnecessary barriers between you and your manager and take money out of your pocket. And the chef in the cartoon is like, oh, I could have bought a neck tattoo with that money. He starts stabbing the monster. It's such like an obvious propaganda video. Very well done. And the old Jewish man randomly goes, where's Betty Boop? Such a random throwaway
good impression line.
Though. Not bad. Hey, where's Betty Boop? Just like a quintessential old Jewish guy. Then they all sign the union cards, and Nelson's mom raises a sign that says onion, obviously thinking that it said union. Very good. Then Marge says she's worried that management might retaliate against her, but Homer says that corporations aren't vengeful, just people. Then Gil promotes Marge to delivery driver, and she says that she has 60 minutes to deliver 40 orders, or she's out. Then starts her journey, and again, it's an amazing sequence, very well animated. Her delivering all these items. She delivers to Apu and Snake. That was nice to see Apu. She throws a sub right at Mole Man, right into the groin. Great little old school reference there. Yeah, so good. She throws pizza, a comic book guy. She jumps over a split bridge to deliver food to the sea captain on his boat. But she fails to deliver her final order, and then we see that it's her own house. She looks up and sees Homer, and she's like, you're a user, food? She said she thought it was a hobo camp with a stolen credit card. And we see she gets fired because she didn't get all the food delivered on time. Homer says that they tried cooking, but she has no idea how hard it is to make dinner every night. She says that her union family are the only family she has now, and they turn up to support her after she got fired. And we see that every food delivery app in town is on strike now. And Marge's like, yes! And Homer's upstairs to hear him going, no!
The thing is, this happened not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
In London.
Oh, damn.
All the companies went on strike.
Shit.
Yeah, so no lazy shits could get their delivery.
Only the food delivery companies went on strike.
Yeah.
Wow. Dare I say it? Simpsons predicted it.
Yeah,
it's a very plausible thing that could happen because it's so blatantly obvious they're screwing over their workers.
Oh, yeah.
Because you see them, they're working like a fucking dog, cycling everywhere, they're trying to get to all these locations, and they're paid only commission from the deliveries, like not on a regular paycheck. Yeah.
Like, to be fair, some of them are assholes. But
the delivery drivers, for sure, yeah.
But you do have to be built different to do it.
100%, I couldn't do that. No way. Cycling all day? Not a fucking chance. We then cut to the plant. Homer is outraged by the strike, and he says the food only tastes good when someone brings it to him now. He then accidentally activates the reactor core, and Carol tells him that he could have fried every electronic device in Springfield. And Homer's like, fried electronic devices. Wait, that one doesn't even make sense. I'm losing it. He says that he would sign a deal with the devil just to get his gimme chow back. We then cut to that stock show again, Demented Dollars. They interview Marge, and they call her a communist psycho. And he asks why she's starving America with her psychotic demands. But she says she's just asking for a fair share, and she doesn't think that's too much to ask. He then brings Homer into the conversation, who he calls a capitalist ally. He says he's honoured that Gimme Chow offered to pay him in Gimme Chow gift cards to talk about how, he starts reading from a piece of paper, how unions get in the way of innovation. And their text comes up as saying, slow reader, smart thinker. He says that he created a union at the plant, but he hasn't innovated one thing since then. And their text pops up saying anti-union man. All the text in this sequence are great. Another one just says the future is no place for workers' rights, because I'm sure he does really want to support a company that Marge says that he sure doesn't want to support a company that favors human misery, but he says that misery is how the best stuff is made, like pyramids, railroads, booze, and the soccer stadiums in Qatar. Then Marge starts attacking him with toiletries, and we find that he's in the bathroom because it looks like he was like in an office space. And then their text pops up saying fake background, real marital problems. We then cut to Marge encourages everybody who respects workers' rights to join her on the picket line. We then cut to the picket line. We see the angry mob heading to the picketers, and they're chanting, being like, hey, we get how you feel. Now get in the kitchen and cook our meals. We see Homer start a new organization called SELF, standing for Self-Entitled Lovers of Food. He says that they're trying to start a lazy grant. They go to attack the cookers. Then Bonnie Day arrives in a helicopter, and he says that he found a way to end the strike by firing everyone. He says their kitchens are now fully robotic, and delivery is back with without any complaining humans. It's now all ran by drones. Marge realizes that the most selfish will always squash any hope of a decent life for the rest of us. Which is just a tragic, true line, quite powerful.
I know.
Yeah, she then thanks Homer for stabbing his wife. Or Bonnie Day thanks Homer for stabbing his wife in the back. And Homer feels terrible. He goes back to the reactor core. It was a clever way to bring it back there. I didn't think they were going to do that. That was well done. He goes back to the reactor core and turns it off, which fries the electronic devices. And he says it again. He's like, oh, it makes sense now. And we see all the drones falling, and the food starts falling on top of everybody and start devouring it. And he apologizes to Marge at the house, saying that all the food in the world means nothing to him if she's not there to keep her from to keep him from choking on it. The wise guy tells us through narration that Bonnie Day was forced to hire union workers on a fair wage, and Homer used his gift cards to pay off the chicken operation. He says Marge forgave Homer, but brought it up every time they fought for the rest of their marriage. Which I don't even judge her there, because he was being quite a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. It was horrible.
It was like he literally just favoured food over his wife. Which made sense, however. I'm sure some people are watching it being like, oh, he's a jerk-ass Homer again. Like, but it makes for interesting storytelling.
It does.
You know? So yeah, that concludes this episode.
Lovely.
After you, sir.
Oh, yes. So... oh, yes.
I'm going to say you didn't like it.
No, it was good.
Oh, right. It was
good.
it was
decent.
I enjoyed it, yeah. That was good fun.
So, it's packed with humour. Obviously, it has the references to the bear, which I enjoyed.
Fantastic, such a great sequence.
The parody of Mad Money.
Mad Money, what was that?
I can't remember, but there was a parody of it in there.
I haven't seen Mad Money.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
But I do think that in like the second half, it goes downhill a little bit.
Really?
Homer initially sides against Marge, leading to the rushed conclusion, I think, where the drones replace the workers until Homer redeems himself. It felt like just a quick kind of turnaround of like, oh, well, we can throw that in there.
Yeah, I hear you. It all made sense to me the way it progressed, but I do get that it was kind of... I agree it was kind of rushed.
One of those finishes that it feels too convenient.
They were stuck on time, so they had to like get it all out there fast. Yeah, wrap it up.
But despite this, it had sharp satire and standout animation.
Definitely.
And it has a strong balance of humour and timely commentary on modern labour issues.
Very well done. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I did enjoy it. Not a standout, but still a solid episode nonetheless. So I'll be fair and give it a 7.
7? Sure. Yeah. I gave it an 8. I quite liked that, I have to say. I said it was a solid marriage episode. Pretty rare also. I just realised we had 2 marriage episodes in a row. That's true. Yeah, not common. Like I feel like you'll get 2 Homer episodes in a row and you won't bat an eyelid. Same with Bart episodes, but marriage episodes together, very uncommon. But great to see it. 2 very different versions of marriage in this episode. I really liked just seeing her being really independent. I love seeing. As I thought the bear sequence was fantastic, and I also loved the driving montage of her trying to deliver all the food on time. I thought those moments like really stand out, and the animation was just stellar in both of those sequences.
I just realised like the bear is so pop culture already.
I know, it got so big so fast. Yeah, they're in season 3, and like it's on The Simpsons. It's hit the zeitgeist, and it deserves it. It's an absolutely amazing show. I said I really enjoyed the Homer and marriage conflict personally. I thought it heightened the plot well, and it felt unique. Like it wasn't a situation we've seen them in together before. It was like a new conflict.
Yeah, you know, true.
It wasn't like marital problems. It was like kind of more personal and specific. I enjoyed it, and it made sense. Like even though Homer was being a jerk, and obviously we love Homer, it made sense that he would be so passionate about just getting his food delivered to him conveniently.
He does over anything.
Yeah, exactly. Over his wife.
like. We don't really, obviously, the birth of them was recent, but they never really like touched on the fact that Homer's such an obvious victim to like
stuff like that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, of course. You can get all the food you want. The best cuisines for him can be delivered to him within 20 minutes. Yeah. Of course, he's gonna fall for that bait. Yeah. Also, worthy of mentioning that this episode actually got quite a bit of awards recognition. As the writer of this episode, Caesar Mazzageros, was nominated for a humanitarian award, which centers on work that explores the human condition in a nuanced and meaningful way.
That's pretty cool.
Really cool, yeah. And this episode was also nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program, alongside Bob's Burgers' The Amazing Rudy, X-Men 97's Remember It, but eventually lost to Blue Eye Samurai, which I've never heard of. It's a show on Netflix. It's got critically praised. Yeah, but it's still cool it was nominated, and I think deserves... Obviously, Best Animated Program probably revolves on everything, like the plot and the acting and the animation. So, but obviously the most important thing is the animation, and in regards to that, this episode was definitely a standout this season. There's some really gorgeous sequences in there, I thought. But yeah, let's jump on to the news then. Just 2 pieces of news? Yeah, 2 pieces of news this week. The first one I thought...
I do it regardless, I think.
Just like the news, I guess, yeah.
Propaganda.
There you go, yeah. Promoting Simpsons stuff. But when asked in a recent interview if he thinks that you can take a joke about anything anymore, Matt Groening... I mean, this isn't directly related to Simpsons, but since Matt Groening was involved, I thought it was worth mentioning. Matt Groening responded that, I think the important thing is to have as much freedom as you can to express yourself, but you've got to be prepared for criticism. You put it out there, you dish it out, you got to be prepared to take it back. He was then asked at 70 years old, when asked if he ever considered retiring, he responded, "There's no retirement. I love my job. It's child's play. Telling stories, joking, and making people laugh is basically the only thing I ever wanted to do growing up. I would love to continue doing it." Nice. So it was, really nice, beautiful. The whole interview you can find online. It's worth the read. Those are like 2 moments that like really stood out to me. And another interesting rumor is Disney Plus are apparently considering introducing a channel that will play the show on a continuous loop.
Okay.
Like a channel on the platform. You just click in, it's just playing an episode randomly, basically. I'm down for it.
I just don't see the point because you can just do that anyway.
Yeah, but I guess the cool thing about it is that it's totally random, so you might find an episode that you might have never thought of. You know?
I suppose it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny how much we're craving like normal TV again now.
That streaming services are trying to find ways to make it more modernized. Yeah.
I was rewatching Game of Thrones. It was only on Sky.
Yeah.
And
now
I
TV.
have to watch ads.
Ah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, you can skip them after like 30 seconds.
Oh really? On
I was
Sky?
like, I'm actually gonna
watch the ads.
Like keep the ads on because it makes me feel like I'm watching TV.
Sure.
Properly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Maybe I'll start doing that on YouTube.
Huh?
I definitely won't. Maybe I'll start doing that on YouTube.
Oh, no.
I'm like this, waiting for the skip button to pop up. I'm like bracing for it every time. But yeah, sweet. Let's jump on to Seb's classics then.
Yes. Seb's
Great.
classic Roonies.
Underrated episode, I think.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah, I love this one.
Is Thank God It's Doomsday, which
Indeed.
is season 16, episode 19.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of a later one than normal.
Yeah, true.
Homer becomes convinced that the end of the world is near after watching a religious movie and interpreting various signs around Springfield. I think definitely at the time of this episode being made, there was a lot of like lunatics going around.
We were getting close to 2012 as well,
2012,
so yeah, it's definitely a parody of that also.
His obsession with doomsday predictions leads him to calculate the exact date of the rapture, and after gathering a group of believers, they wait for the apocalypse. However, then, nothing happens. Homer faces ridicule, but remains convinced that he got the date slightly wrong. He eventually finds himself in heaven, but after some unexpected twists, Homer has to find a way to return to Earth and reunite with his family.
Yeah.
So you have ticks all the boxes. You know, you've got a great plot.
Yeah.
You've got hilarious, funny moments in a Homer story, and then you've got the seriousness of it and the family orientation.
Yeah, the bigger conflict underneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the second time when he thinks the rapture's going to happen and the family are all pissed off at him, and then Marge goes, "You couldn't predict 6 o'clock at 5:30." That was such a good comeback.
It's pretty good, actually.
Such a good dislide, yeah. But yeah, it is proper, like, Homer just, like, you know, as we always talk about, we love the episodes where he makes something his entire personality.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of those.
Being one of them,
Yeah. I love the beginning when they're watching the movie Left Below, and it's like such a clear, like, Christian propaganda film of, like, oh, only the baptized baby got sent up, and oh, you denounce God, so you don't get sent up, and like a monk didn't get sent up because he's Buddhist. The whole series is hilarious. Is Homer just being so incorrigible? It's like buying all of it. At one point, the guy just goes, "It looks like we've all been left below." Left below? I think I've heard that before. At least it's like it's the name of the movie. It's everywhere. It's so good.
So, what I will say is it's a great episode because it has a satirical take on the religious
very satirical,
extremism, doomsday predictions, and in a funny way it explores how people can easily be influenced by fear and conspiracy theories, which I certainly have.
Yeah.
And with Homer's over-the-top actions, driving much of the comedy. The episode also touches on themes of faith, family, redemption, but it remains still light-hearted in its own Simpson way, and full of quirky humour. While not considered one of the all-time classic episodes, I personally think it's a classic.
I agree.
And a must-watch.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Absolutely agree.
It almost feels older than it actually is.
There's a very classic setup to it, yeah.
And after watching it again, it's very, very memorable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I would give it a 9, I think.
9? Yeah.
9.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. A 9 as well. Yeah, fantastic episode. It ramps up brilliantly when you see him in heaven at the end.
Oh yeah.
The angel giving him the tour is like, oh, you can do whatever you want to do, and just like his head explodes, makes his head explode. And then he shows him his hotel room, and he's like kind of like asking Homer to give him encouraging Homer to give him a tip. He's like, oh, I don't have any money. He's like, you can imagine money. He's like, Yeah. He won't just do that. Like, that's how lazy he is.
Yeah.
And he meets God and he's saying to, like, save his family. And God's like, oh, I've seen what you Earthlings did to my son. I know what happened, but he hasn't been the same ever since. You just see Jesus on a swing, just looking so sad. So good. Yeah, really, really wonderful, fun episode. Love the whole sequence as well. During the point where they believe Homer and they're all on the bus together going out to get raptured, and then just classic Homer just being horrible to Grandpa. Like, Grandpa comes up like all dressed in the suit, ready for the rapture. He's like, wait for me.
Oh man, that's so sad.
And he's like, oh, there's another bus coming for you. Drive.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
His own dad.
His own father. He's so consistently absolutely horrible to Grandpa. But yeah, it's a wonderful, fun episode. I love this up at the beginning as well, before we get into the rapture stuff, where they go to get their haircut, and Bart's like playing a game. He's like, stab, on the side, right.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And gives him a horrible haircut. And then Ralph comes in and is like, can you maybe look like this? It's just a picture of Charlie Brown. It's so stupid. And then Christmas Skinner's with like the photography society. He's like, oh, gotta go find a great picture. And it's just the kids with like Bart and Lisa with like horrible haircuts, and they try to take pictures of them, they just like run away. Like, just the worst thing that happened to kids. People in your class have cameras ready to embarrass you. Yeah.
And now everyone does.
Oh yeah, of course, it's common practice now. It wasn't then. And they turn the corner to see Homer's eating Cinnabon from a trash. And you're like, Dad, like, oh come on, the fat man's eating trash, big surprise. So good. Yeah, just like classic Homer, like we said, just like such a buffoon, but like also has like these good redeemable qualities to him, and we get why he's there. We get how he got to that place with the conspiracy theory and stuff. Like, we're on his side, even when nobody else is towards the end. You really feel for him there. I also love the whole sequence of Moe's being turned into a sushi bar because Moe thought the rapture was happening.
Oh,
And the whole place is a sushi bar now. He says that he sold it to the Japanese, and he gave all his money to sick children because he thought that the world was coming to an end. Like, thanks very much, Homo. He says, like, well, chopping the sushi. And then Grace sings at the very end. He's like, I have one place I need to go, because he asked God to at least bring back Moe. It's like, I have one place to go. Just, hallelujah. And just singing Moe's. And then great final image is just him there in the bar, like the Last Supper, and he's Jesus, and everybody around them is the 12 apostles, and Moe is Judas. Such a beautiful,
that'd be a great poster to have.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that. That'd be a fantastic poster. Yeah, I love it so much. Absolutely wonderful episode, as you said. Yeah, underrated. Just very underrated. Demands more attention. Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, let's move on to the 10 questions then.
Alright, 10 questions. You all know what it is by now.
Hopefully,
Should I explain?
Yeah. I think every time, just in case, a little bit,
So this is the segment where I come up with a character from The Simpsons, and Dylan has 10 questions to get as close to that character as possible, and on this 11th question he has to guess. However, he can take stabs in between to see if he can guess the character, but that will count as a question.
Yeah. Sweet, sounds good. Alright. You know who it is?
I've got it, and I've got the wiki up, so I
ready
get
to go.
Right.
Okay. I always ask just in case. Is it a member of the family?
No.
Is it a male?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is it an adult?
I'm
confused with that one.
Technically.
Is it an animal?
Yes.
Is it a Simpsons pet?
No.
Oh. Okay. It's not a Simpsons pet. Has this animal ever lived with the Simpsons?
No.
No. Does he talk?
Yes.
He does talk. He's an animal. Is he on TV?
Yes.
Itchy?
No.
Scratchy?
No.
Shit!
11th guess.
Oh no. It's an animal on TV, and it's not itchy or scratchy. Mr. Teeny! Oh, shit!
You have failed, Dylan.
Damn it! Who is it?
Failed. It is Poochie.
Poochie! Ah, damn it!
I went very niche this week.
You did. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I really thought you were going to get it because you were like itchy, and then it was like the 10th guess. You were like scratchy, and I was like, he's going to get it now.
I forgot about Poochie. And I shouldn't have guessed Mr. Teeny because you made it clear the animal talks. Ah, damn it. Nicely done. You got me that one. That's...
Yeah, and so you can see why I was like, technically...
Yeah, it's
I
an
don't know
adult.
if he's an adult or not.
Yeah, I know you're right. But your hesitation immediately made me realize that it was
Yeah.
an animal, because that's the only reason why you would question it. So yeah, I mean, damn it. Like, you, is it the first time you got me? First time I didn't guess it.
I got you with Moman.
You did, yeah. First time I
and
didn't.
that was the fourth one, I think. So it's 2-2.
2-2 to you, 2 to me, yeah. Tune in next week to see who's going to end up being ahead, yeah. Alrighty, let's jump into Keep It Short.
Well, Dylan knows all about keeping it short. That has to be like the jingle. It's like
Just you saying that.
he knows all about keeping it short, and this is the segment keeping it short.
It's
like a little
Welcome to Keep It Short, and your host of the evening definitely knows about keeping it short. It's Dillon Harris. Alright, this one was called...
we need a segment for me keeping it long.
Oh yeah, jeez, but it would go on forever.
Yes, it does.
But anyway, this segment is where we cover the Tracy Ullman Show shorts. This one is called Space Patrol. Original air date November 8th, 1987. This one's pretty fun. Some cool animation going around as Bart wants to play a game called Space Patrol. And Lisa and Maggie are immediately encouraging of it. Lisa makes herself into Lisui, the devil may care rogue pilot. She just like puts a pan on her head as like her helmet, and puts one on Maggie as well. Maggie becomes Megiter, her spunky sidekick. I'm guessing spunky didn't have the same meaning in the 80s. It doesn't quite hold up now, that phrasing. Bart is Bartron, the evil robot who tries to conquer Earth. And Lisa just puts a vase on his head and pushes him to the floor, and the rest of this character just becomes them absolutely abusing Bart.
Yeah, it took a turn.
I know, yeah, absolutely abusing. Again, like I said before, they really don't know.
He's not on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, never, yeah. But also Lisa would never do that to Bart now. Like I said before, just them not knowing who the characters are yet. She then pokes him with a brush, asking him where the magic space crystals are. And they push him down the stairs, rendering his anti-gravity belt non-functional. And eventually she releases him from the vase using her enchanted space wand, and finds out that Bartron is actually a horrible mutant boy. And they hide behind the couch, her and Maggie, are like, okay, we'll be safe until Mom and Dad get home. Which, I don't know why, for some reason that sentence really sounds like something you'd hear in an ad. We'll wait till Mom and Dad get home. I don't know. It's reminding me of like the Eminem, like Scott's home early. It's one of those like cheeky, like dumb ad lines.
Yeah.
We'll be
Scott's home early. Always remember that from the cinema.
Yeah, because we had a guy that we worked with named Scott, and that was when that ad like just came out, and we just always said that because it's just so stupid.
Scott's home early.
So dumb. I always love sharing this fact with people. Do you know who voices the yellow M&M?
Isn't it it's I do know. It's
my dad.
It's fucking guy from Whiplash.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, J.K. Simmons. Yeah. I always just love that fact. It's so interesting to me that he's the yellow M&M.
Random, yeah.
So random. You can hear it as soon as you realize.
Oh yeah.
But it's just so weird that amazing actor is in a recording studio for M&M.
I need you to get pictures of the yellow M&M.
Yeah. But it's just so weird to think him being in an M&M studio being like, Scott's home early. Probably one of his biggest gigs though.
Yeah.
They definitely pay well. But yeah, that was Keep It Short. Let's jump on into the recommendations. Alright. Let's loop these boys up. Fingers looking good today. You're praying this time, alright. Rock, paper, scissors. Hey.
I just don't understand. I really don't get it.
I don't either.
Because there was a period where I was doing the same one every week. But I switch it up now, and you still.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. I have no tactic. It's just the odds are always in my favor. I don't know. Always absolutely emasculating you. Anyhow, my 2 recommendations this week are both movies, actually. The first one is Speak No Evil.
What's that?
The new James McAvoy thriller. Haven't heard of it? Oh, fantastic. Basically, we followed this couple. They're on this holiday together in Italy. And they run into James McAvoy and his wife. And they're both, like, from the beginning, they're, like, a little bit weird. But
yeah,
they're very charmed by them. And he invites them out to, like, a little cottage that they have out in, like, the north of Wales. And Wales or Scotland? No, Scotland, the north of Scotland. And, like, it's like a cottage in the middle of nowhere, so you can kind of imagine where things go from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, there's so many twists and turns throughout. And it just shows James McAvoy's acting capabilities. He can be intimidating just by being himself. There's nothing scary about the location, really. It's just he is an intimidating presence. And that's what makes it spooky. He's just incredible. The whole cast are amazing, but like obviously James McAvoy is a standout. And I really miss James McAvoy. He hadn't been in anything in a while that I had seen anyway. So it's just great to see him. I was like, oh my god, I forgot how great this guy is. Such a great actor. Yeah. Great thriller, just beginning to end, had me at the edge of my seat. Really highly recommend. It's great really. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Really loved it. Yeah, highly recommend. Good stuff. Yeah, what's your first recommendation?
Nice. My recommendation is an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Protect Our Parks 5.
They are great.
They are so funny.
Episode 2136. Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble.
Okay, I don't know these guys.
Graham Hancock was formerly a foreign correspondent for The Economist, but now he is a best-selling author.
Okay. The Economist is like a broadsheet newspaper?
Yeah. And essentially he is a firm believer in ancient civilizations that we don't know about existing on Earth. Hence why we find these old tools that humans didn't create and things like that.
Egyptian artifacts and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas Flint Dibble is a archaeologist and a lecturer of archaeology.
So he feels the opposite?
Yeah, so they're both opposites. So he firmly believes there's an explanation to everything we find.
Wow.
And basically they are both kind of having a debate. But through this debate you're learning so much about ancient civilizations that potentially could have existed, and also the archaeological side of it.
Yeah.
So you're learning 2 in 1, and you're seeing an interesting debate, and they actually argue quite intensely in some of it because
very different views.
Yeah,
bound to happen.
Flint Dibble said really bad things about Graham Hancock, that he's
outside the podcast.
Yeah, saying on Twitter, saying things like that Graham Hancock's beliefs in these ancient civilizations is actually racist and white supremacy because he's not giving credit to the actual for example Egyptians
history, slavery and stuff. Interesting.
So it also gets a bit feisty, but it's super interesting.
You sold me. That was one I saw on my Spotify feed. I ignored it. I don't know those guys, but yeah, now I want to listen to it. That sounds like a great listen. Does Joe get involved much?
Yeah, to kind of break it up a bit.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, sure.
But you can
keep
tell
the peace. He's the moderator.
I mean, naturally, Joe is more conspirity theorist, so he does side with Graham.
Really interesting. I'm very intrigued by that.
And,
yeah. The way he goes about it is reasonable. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. Yeah, definitely give it a listen. That's a good specific recommendation there. And my next recommendation is Beverly Hills Cop 4, or Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I rewatched the first 3 movies before jumping into this. I think they're just fantastic. Have you seen any of them?
I haven't.
Oh, they're so fun, man. Just great classic 80s movies. Eddie Murphy is just sensational. A great mix of comedy and thriller, crime, drama. It has that balance perfect in all of them. And
actually, no, sorry, I've seen 1 and 2.
You've seen 1 and 2? Yeah, fantastic.
I actually watched 1 this year at some point, so I don't know why I said
Second one I thought was so interesting. I didn't realize it was directed by Tony Scott, the guy who did Top Gun and stuff. So it's a lot more of a drama than it is a comedy. The second one, because he directed, I think, and he's obviously less interested in comedy. It was very interesting seeing his style in an Eddie Murphy comedy movie. It was a very interesting marriage. Really enjoyed it. Rewatching all of them, I think they're just wonderful films. I love the dynamic between Eddie Murphy and the other 2 police officers. They're so funny together. And the 4th one, I was definitely nervous about it being 30 years later. But my God, it didn't skip a beat, in my opinion. I thought it was such a fun movie from start to finish. Yeah, the plot was like, the stakes were high. I didn't know how they were going to get out of it. Eddie Murphy back as that character was just wonderful, and just like his comedic timing was brilliant and everything else.
People are worried and skeptical
about these legacy sequels. Yeah, but this is definitely one that stood out, and it felt like it had a reason to exist, and just a wonderful, fun movie from start to finish. Just a good laugh. It's on Netflix. I'm sure most people have Netflix, and it's just well worth your time. Well worth your time rewatching all those movies. But yeah, I thought the fourth one really stood out, and they're talking about doing more. I hope they do.
That's good.
Such a fun time watching it. Yeah, just great films. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Anyone from you? Second this week? No,
I've been lacking recently.
That's all good. You are all forgiven. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's jump on into the questions then.
Ooh.
Our first question comes from Will Landon, a buddy of both of ours.
Yeah, I recognise that name.
There you go. Will is a very big Star Wars fan, so this question makes perfect sense coming from him. As he goes, in honor of James Earl Jones, what was your favourite moment from him on the show? So just so you know, all the moments is... He played one of the aliens in the first ever Treehouse of Horror. In the fifth Treehouse of Horror, he played Maggie in like the alternate universe where he goes, "This is indeed a disturbing universe." He voiced Maggie there. Oh fuck, there was just those two, wasn't it? Oh, there might have been a third one. Oh, and he also played the haunted house in the first ever Treehouse of Horror. The one that's like talking to the family. Yeah. I don't know why I forgot that one. I would say that one's probably my favorite because it's just he has the most going on as an actor.
I'm gonna be really boring and say I don't have one because I just simply couldn't pick one because they're all good.
Yeah,
but it's hard to say what's better about one compared to another one. I don't know.
I would say the dream house, I mean the haunted house, just because he has the most going on as an actor in that scene, like the way he intimidates the family and stuff, and he does that really well, and his voice is perfectly chosen for it. But just in terms of like iconic, I would say Maggie saying, "This is indeed a disturbing universe," and hearing his voice cut on Maggie is such a great moment as well. I thought they utilized his voice so brilliantly in all the bits that they had him in The Simpsons. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I would say the haunted house. And yeah, may he rest in peace. Amazing actor, absolutely iconic. You think of all the iconic parts he's had, like Mufasa, Darth Vader. Just what a guy. Yeah.
Crazy, right?
I know, unbelievable. So yeah, may he rest in peace. And second question comes from my buddy from Cork, Steve Pinfield. Fantastic question, I think. Very specific. He goes, if the show had to switch focus to any other timeline in the family's history, which one would you choose?
Any other timeline?
Yeah, so like we're not following them as the family they are now, and Bart's 10 and Lisa's 8 and Maggie's 1, like different ages, a different period in the family's life, basically. What came into my head immediately is we know there's a point where Bart gets divorced, and during that period, Lisa is married to Milhouse with kids, and Marge and Homer are like living alone without kids for the first time in years. Obviously, I think personally for me, I think that would be the most interesting period to explore them in, because that's like totally different storylines that you'd never have on the show, like them living alone together, Bart being divorced, Lisa being a housewife, well, not being a housewife, but being a married woman with children. I think that could be interesting.
That's pretty good. I would like to see an era where Bart... So how it is Bart has just finished college.
Yeah. So he's like
and either working early 20s. Or, unemployed, whatever. Lisa has started college.
Yeah.
That's when that would sync up.
Yeah.
And then Maggie is a young teen.
So
you've got the house with an older Homer, Marge, and a young teen
and then
Maggie,
we have one
so we
child.
can actually see her speaking and everything.
You can give her more of a persona for the first time, Have her,
then you've got two separate lives of Bart just leaving college and
on
going
the cusp of adulthood,
and Lisa going in. So then you've got a dynamic of a guy who's becoming an adult. You've got a woman that's
starting college, you can do a whole new plot line there,
and then you got a young teen. So
that's a really good answer to you, because again that just opens the door for so many different storylines. You can follow Maggie and see what kind of kid she ends up being. I guess at this point she'd be like closer to Bart's age. And yeah, Bart being done college, like figuring out what the fuck he's going to do with his life. Lisa just starting college, all that potential she has, and then an older
because then
Homer
also
marriage.
It doesn't
be interesting.
It doesn't mean that we're losing every part of Springfield. Like we're still going to see Springfield Elementary and Skinner. And everything.
True. Yeah, we still get them.
Like,
we get an older Skinner and stuff.
So we're still seeing all of Springfield.
It's a good point.
And then some.
And then a new.
We're not losing a certain aspect of it.
Yeah, we'll get new locations. So we have Lisa in, presumably Springfield University, and then Bart being a young adult would be interesting too, because we never see people in that age group, people in their early 20s. So that'd be like an interesting. You could build whole new characters that way, So that'd be cool.
I think if that was to be made into a show, they might have to make them longer episodes.
Yeah, because there's just so much you can do there. Yeah, totally. I mean, Steve's question is like the show just like switch focus on that time period forever.
So maybe I would say it would be more of like a
two-parter,
a linear story as well. Like a season is a whole story beginning to end, not just every episode's different.
That'd be sick.
Maybe you actually have it as a narrative for the whole season.
I'd be so down for that. Like, again,
then it makes sense to cut between the characters.
For sure. No, you're fine. Yeah. Again, like I always say, like we know the show is going to go on forever anyways. Like why not do something like that? Just crazy and experiment.
Yeah, experiment with a season.
Yeah, exactly. Even just like 10 episodes or something. There's going to be 22 episodes a season usually anyway. It's like I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah.
Something really, really out there and different, and it opens the door for stories that they can't tell currently. Because you're having them in these all different age groups. Like even like you said, like having Maggie as a kid, I'd have Maggie be nothing like Bart or Lisa. She's not a brat like Bart or like a smart ass like Lisa. That have her be a whole new personality.
As well, Lisa and Bart are very stereotypical of the time the Simpsons were made. Whereas Maggie can be a proper, like Gen Z's.
That'd be really interesting. Like it would be totally different.
Like in 21 Jump Street, how like when they go back to school, they're expecting it to be like the jocks and the losers, but actually everyone's kind of just similar
in their own bubbles and stuff. Oh, great movies too. Fan Chamber recently said that there's a script for 23 Jump Street he thinks is the best script of the third movie he's ever read.
Nice.
Which I hope they make that someday. And I feel like the older they get, the funnier it actually is to put them into those environments. So I'd be so down for one of those 100%. 22 Jump Street is one of the best sequels out there. What a solid sequel. Just fun movies. But I think we'll leave it on that note. Thanks for 2 fantastic questions, guys. And thank you, as always, for listening.
Thank you.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to add, I think that's it.
Just sorry if I've offended any children that listen to this podcast.
We definitely said some horrible things this week. And in every podcast, we say at least one horrific thing. So, these podcasts don't have any age
we're
ratings.
like out of the podcast.
This is us restricting ourselves.
This is me trying.
On that note, thanks as always, guys, and chat to you real soon.
Ciao.
Bye bye.